Hi, welcome to my top 24 Niagara Regional Memento deck list. I just wanted to make this because I feel like this deck is very, very underrated. In my opinion, this is the second best deck of the format, like quite easily. Um, it's significantly better than Maliss. As an amazing Ryzeal matchup to the point where you could just break the full Ryzeal board with just Engine. And like not people just don't respect this deck whatsoever. A lot of the times, like of course now I'm starting to see in tier list where like they're starting to like rate this tier 1 like beneath Ryzeal, beneath Maliss, beneath a lot of the Fiendsmith stuff. But I like this deck is quite easily second best deck of the format. It's very, very underexplored, underrepresented. And it's just also very cheap. Like this deck is too strong to be this cheap, and I honestly feel like you should very much so pick this up. Again, like this thing's probably not going to get views. I really don't care. I just really feel like I really want to share this, and like I feel like more people should be on this. So going back to, or not going back to, but speaking of other regionals. So I managed to achieve top 24 at the Niagara Regionals. I personally feel like I should have been top 8, not because of any unfortunate like circumstances, just my losses were very winnable. And I wanted to say that to prove that this deck is just very strong, but it's also extremely hard to play. And like smaller misplays can mean, like especially against like better players who could take advantage of you misplaying, it can mean you losing. But sometimes like your opponent also misplays, so you just want to be very efficient and play very smart and try to make less mistakes than your opponent. Not try to play perfect, because nobody's perfect and there's a lot going on during a match to the point where you can't really stay in that you can't really play perfect at all times, which is okay. So starting off, of course, 3 Anguish, best card in the deck. I lied, not best card, second best card in the deck. Gets you everything you need. The best normal summon. Next to Darkblade. A lot of people like think Darkblade is the better normal summon. It's not. A lot of the times when you want to dodge Imperm and dodge targeting negations and effects, Darkblade does not cut it. Like especially if like you go Darkblade effect, they chain a targeting effect like Valor, Imperm, whatever, and then you chain Chainlink 3 the Goblin Biker card, Ground Breakout, Tribute for cost, and then they ash it, and you're kind of screwed unless you have even more extenders in hand. Whereas with this, you are going to get the add off regardless, unless they ash it. And at that point, like you go +2 or whatever, like go effect to add Imperm. Cool, Tribute for cost for Grand Breakout. And then they're probably at that point, they're probably not gonna ash the Goblin, they're gonna ash the Horse whenever it comes out. Because you're most likely adding Horse off of this unless you already have it in hand. But you're gonna, like the main point is getting Horse out. And then from there, you don't even need to use Horse, you could just go Goblin effect, dump 2, and then save Horse for like whenever. So yeah, so 3 Anguish, of course, like amazing card. It's like I think one of the most expensive cards in the deck. It's just this and Bone Party, and then other than that, you're perfectly fine. Then of course I saw Darkblade. Darkblade is very good. Gets you pretty much any of your other 1-card combo starters. Like this is a 1-card combo, Witch is a 1-card combo, Horse itself is a 1-card combo, Mace is a 1-card combo, Goblin is a 1-card combo. But you shouldn't be relying on 1-card linear combos, because you're gonna be running to hand traps now, like guaranteed, like between 1 to 3, which you should be able to just eat with this deck unless your hand is terrible. Darkblade is also really good because he has the on summon effect. Discard a memento card for cost, so like just take memento card, extra Witch in hand or whatever, send it to the grave, and then target a back row and to destroy it, and then you could do, and then again if the impermanent, whatever, or under skill drain, Memento Fusion, Bone Party, Grand Breakout, just to get off the field and get rid of whatever you need, and you still plus regardless. So yeah, very good card. Of course, like a lot of these Memento cards are great. Of course, 3 Seahorse, 3 Tatsunosu Shigo. I call it Seahorse. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the actual name. This very good. Another 1-card combo. It's just a free summon a lot of the times. I'm not running the Fiendsmith stuff, so you will almost always have access to this. Great extender. Dump 3 is insane. Potentially dump even more, because let's say you go Horse, they try to impermanent instead of Asher or Purge it or whatever, and then you go Bone Party, pop this, and then you can send like Trihorn or Akihiro. Well, yeah, Trihorn to grave. Or let's say you have I think at one point during the regionals, I had Combined Creation on the field, and then Combined Creation, and then I had this. I summoned this in defense, and I go effect. He goes to impermanent, and then I went, I think Grand Breakout should be for cost, and then I popped my Grand Creation. I dumped what, like 5? No, I dumped like 8 Memento names, which is crazy. Really good card. I'm saying that for every Memento. 2 Goblin. Ideally, like, you don't really want to see this. This is it's not bad to see. But if you normal some of this and then go effect, they know you're in a tight spot, unless you're like heavy baiting, but a lot of times you're not. You run 2 just in case you draw 1 and Grand Breakout, so Grand Breakout is just not a dead card. I have never drawn both yet, which is a good sign, but yeah. Also, against Ryzeal and Maliss, because insanely good. A lot of times, like, if I can't end on both, like Mace and Goblin in hand, I try to end on Goblin, because a lot of times if you're playing Maliss, it's Fiendsmith Maliss or Striker Maliss. This completely cuts off the whole point of the Striker part of the deck, and this completely cuts off all the targeting stuff or whatever. Like, they go Engraver and attach Requiem Descend. This protects everything. Because, yeah, for those who don't know, if you have Combined Creation on field, during the main phase, not your opponent's turn, Mace is locked to your opponent's turn for the Change of Heart. You could discard this, and your opponent cannot target any Memento cards. Or monsters, sorry. But yeah, 2 Goblin. Very broken card, Akihiro. This card is insanely strong. This is one of the reasons why you don't need to play the Fiendsmith stuff anymore, and preferably not. This deck is already like extremely strong without it, and the Fiendsmith stuff is just bricks. Like, I do not want to see in a hand. I'd rather see more engine. This plus Memento Fusion, when you banish the fusion, popping this to add like Bone Party or whatever is insanely strong, and like you just plus so much off of it, because then when this gets popped, you add the Memento Fusion from your banish to your hand, and it's just free. Like, it's so good. And like the grind game is like, the deck already had a really good grind game, but it's significantly better now because of like what this could do and how he just constantly comes back. And a lot of the times, you'll be scared of like banish effects or banishing a grave, but your opponent will be very scared of this card for some reason, because a lot of people don't know what this deck does, so it makes it even more powerful. And they'll try to banish this instead of banishing Combined Creation, Mace, Gaddock. It's like those cards instead. And then if they banish this, sure, banished, and then you go for game next turn. So yeah, very good. Again, like all of them, all very good. Sheep is one of the best cards in this deck, like insanely strong. The fact that it has like, it's just so good. It's a free summon basically. Your monsters will always be destroyed by card effect, and like so his summon will always be live. even during your opponent's turn, on your opponent's turn, if they debury you, it doesn't matter. You make Xyz and Lynx, and then you fuse on your opponent's turn, and you basically have the same end board, -1 interruption. And you can fuse twice, but you save Memento Fusion for, well, I'll show you later when I get into the extra deck. A lot of times, I would dump him off of Seahorse, and then he'll revive back due to Field Spell or the Twin-Headed Memento Dragon, whatever, the Twin-Headed Dragon. Then I'll use his effective fuse, and then later I'll add him back to hand by shuffling him. No, but he'll get added back to hand anyway, or eventually off of like Gaddock or whatever. And then I'll still have his summon to then continue to link, extend, or Xyz with. So like insanely strong. You only run it at 1 though, because you don't really want to see in your hand. You're gonna get this, like, you're gonna search this off of pretty much everything. But yeah, Sheep is very good. Very, like I said, all these cards are very good. The Sheep is insanely good. Mace. This is 1 Mace. You run 1 just because you don't really want to see it. Like, it's not a bad normal summon, like you normal it, but this is worse than Goblin. This is worse, obviously worse than Darkblade and Anguish. Like, you just don't want to see this. Again, you want to see it during your combo, because it's just search, pop 1, search any Memento card, which is insane, and it could fill any part of your combo that you're missing or it got interrupted, etc. But sometimes you don't even need to use them, and like a lot of the games I've won is not by using like his effect or Goblin effect. I save them, so like they waste 2 hand traps and I think they're done. In my head I'm like, you know what, maybe they have nib. If they do end up nibbing me, then I'm able to extend because I have like 4 other effects I can still use and end up on the same board, and they're down 2 to 3 cards. And then speaking of like his Change of Heart, really like it's like Change of Heart's very nice, especially against Ryzeal, where they go Duo Drive and you take their Duo Drive before they go effect. But you mainly use them because we run Herald of the Mirage Lights. You use them as that a lot of times to protect your board. So yeah. 1 Gaddock. You never want to see this in hand. This is the worst card to see in your hand. Like, it's just dead. Because a lot of these cards will dump. Like, you saw Sheep dumps, Seahorse dumps. Like, and if you don't have this, like, a lot of those lines are just dead, and you need to draw just more engine. But yeah, but still, like, when he's not in your hand, like, he's insane. Big extender. You could use this effect to come back, revive himself from grave, and then not use his effect to add, and then summon him back from the grave, like another way to use his effect to add from grave. So yeah. One Trihorn, or technically he's like Memento Horn Dragon. I just call him Trihorn. A lot of people don't like him. I love this card. Free extender, free big body, free pop, like 2. But yeah, again, like, and I don't mind seeing this in your hand, because when this is in your hand, it's just Bone Party, Memento Fusion, and like Memento Fusion like fodder. Or if you're able to combo enough and you don't need to add this, you could add Mace and Goblin to hand instead. And then again, like as I said, he's a big body. He's 2850 attack. And he's a free summon if you have 3 Memento names engraved, which you will always have. So yeah. Of course, mandatory combined creation. This card is not. It's like, it's okay. Like, you don't want to see this in your hand. Like maybe Gaddock. It's like worse, not worse, but it's slightly better than seeing Gaddock, because you can summon him from hand if you get 5 names engraved. But at that point, like it didn't matter. Like he's just more fodder for your power spells. Yeah, that's it for the monsters. Pretty standard, I would say. I wouldn't want to run like some people running like less Darkblade or less Anguish. I wouldn't want to do that. I'm not running I'm not running any hand traps actually, because I don't think this deck should be playing hand traps. You should most definitely be playing board breakers, because you want to see engine. Your engine is so powerful. You're gonna break like any board. You could consistently break a full like Ryzeal Fiendsmith board with just seeing like going sack and seeing 6 engine cards. No breakers. And I've done it multiple times. I've done it consistently. Like, this deck is very powerful. You do not want to see a lot of hand traps and a lot of breakers, or else if you see 1 brick, your hand is compromised. Like 1 brick, 2 hand traps, Ryzeal, Fiendsmith, and Maliss are probably playing through those 2 hand traps. And now you're down to like 2 cards because you have 1 brick, and you're not gonna win. So yeah, that's also part of the philosophy of why I want to, like, as I said, want to play breakers, because I'd rather see 4 to 5 engine pieces, 1 breaker. Or if I see 2 breakers and the rest is engine, perfect. I'm breaking any board. So yeah, it's just seeing a droplet's better. Seeing 1 droplet or eclipse is better than seeing 1 ash or 1 veiler or 1 imperm. This is the best card in your deck. This is by far the best card in your deck. I think any Memento player would say Bone Party is the best card in your deck. Insanely broken. Just quick effect, pop, summon, or add to hand to help you play through both Mulch Armies. And this deck does not care about the Mulch Armies whatsoever. Your opponent will get 1 draw, 2 draws. And then that's it. And then they still can't break your end board. Because they're probably due to 2 to 3 hand traps, like in their hand already. So they still only have 4 to 5 cards to play with. And it doesn't even matter, your end board is like 7 to 8 interruptions. I'm not running the trap, which is like an extra 5. But like once like formats change and decks become like a very powerful, you could just throw the trap in, and then boom. Like you have a almost completely unbreakable board. But yeah, very strong. Also, don't underestimate the piercing damage. The piercing this can do. Like let's say like you break your opponent's board, left with 2 monsters, and all you have is like a Creation King. All you have left is this guy. He can attack every monster once, but he's the only monster you control. So just banish, target him to allow him to deal piercing, and then just swing for a game. Yeah. Third best card in the deck, Mental Fusion. Quick play fusion spell that you could then banish to add any Memento spell or trap by popping like not even a Memento, just a monster. So it helps you clear your board too, to then go in and be able to use Seahorse. That's about it. Very like just super strong. You don't even need to fusion summon a Memento monster with this, like with Sheep. Which is why like I play Predaplan Draco Stapelia, or Draco Stapelia is just free extra interruption because of this. And it helps you just like recycle a lot of your monsters engraved during your opponent's turn as well, and during your turn. Just more power spells. Grand Breakout just helps you play through hand traps, like Imperm, Veiler, Mourner, whatever, anything that targets Detonator. Tribute for cost. It's basically tribute a monster you control for cost. Special summon a Goblin card, which is of course Memento Goblin. That's about it. It's just a very powerful card going first. Even going second, it's just strong in general. Then of course, I think this is like the 3rd or 2nd worst like card you want to see in your hand, but it's still a very good field spell. Helps to reset like Memento Fusion or Bone Party, or if you play Trap Engrave, and it's a great extender. So yeah, 1 Prosperity. Prosperity is broken. Why wouldn't you play this? You don't need all that room in your extra deck. You already, like everything your extra deck does, you already have built-in engine for it. Like you have removal, you have back removal, you have protection. Like you have a built-in boss monster. Like you don't need all your extra deck. And this card's just insanely strong. It's just a free whatever. Free board breaker, free engine, free anything pretty much. Of course, 1 called by. Just called by. It's called by. It's called by. It's good going first, good going second. Why wouldn't you run it? And then this is where my deck is quite different. I don't have the Mulch Armies, and I mean I just got a set of Perilias that's coming in. I don't have them yet, but you don't need it, which is why I love this deck as well. Like you don't need to like have super expensive cards to win. You just have to be good at the game. And by playing this this variant of the deck with breakers, you take a lot of luck out of it, and you have the highest chance of winning just by being better than your opponent. So 3 droplet, just standard board breakers. Talents, because Talents is just great going first or second. Eclipse, just because it's good into the Ryzeal matchup, and a lot of other just like rogue matchups or just other decks, but you're not really worried about other decks besides Ryzeal, to be honest. And plus it helps you just dodge. Like if you don't see your power spells or enough of them, you could just use this to dodge like targeting effects. And like oh no, you lose a board breaker, it's one less interruption going second. Your opponent's not breaking your board like 9 out of 10 times. Like of just engine, so all this would be extra going first. And then just imperm. Couldn't really think of another generic like board breaker. This isn't even generic enough. Like you don't want to see this against Maliss, but you're probably breaking their weak end board with engine anyway. Or they bricked. Like you should never lose to Maliss with this deck. But yeah, I also just wanted something else like you could search off with thrust or whatever. But yeah, if you have the Mulcharmies, this would be it. You just side Eclipse. And then you run like Perulia or Fulos. Or if you have both, I wouldn't recommend maining both. I would side one or the other. But yeah, this would be it. You would just side this. These enable you to just destroy Ryzeal's end board. Detonator will never, at the regionals, I don't think Detonator ever used all of his pops. He might have used 1 or 2, and I dodged all of it. And then Caesar easily dealt with. You don't care about the one Omni from Desiree at all whatsoever. Like that's just such a useless card on their end field a lot of the times. Tactics is insane. Take their Detonator, go battle, swing to duo drive. You activate anything, you blow up the rest of their board, and now they have nothing to like really use cross for. And if they use like cross, I don't know if they can use cross on Caesar, but if they can, they lose a Caesar summon negate, which is perfect. Yeah. But yeah, like again, the reason why like you go this over hand traps is because it's like I said, if you see one Ash Imperm or one Ash, one Imperm, one Veiler, or something, just one hand trap is significantly weaker than seeing any one of these. Significantly. You're losing a card that you're gonna have to use to break a board regardless, because a lot of these decks can just can eat hand traps anyway. So you have a much better chance of breaking a board going second with engine and one of these. And again, like it's just also like unintentionally just made the deck better going first. You get hand trap, boom, rip a card. Now they're down 2 cards against your big end board. Boom, you get impermed and you don't have your power spells. Do this, now they're down a card. Like it's just so much better. So much better. I think that's it for the main deck. I'm not playing the 5 negate trap Cranium burst because I just find it as a brick and your end board's already like strong enough. So like that, it's just extra. And let's say you see it in hand, you're now down 1 card that you don't have to break a board with. But like if the board starts to feel weak and you really need like more interruptions, just throw it in. Just 1 extra card. You don't even need to like cut anything. Just throw it in. Play 41 or 42, and it'll be fine. So yeah. Now I'll go into the extra deck. So 2 SPs. This card should be quite like affordable now. I think this one was like. This is the original one that I ended up pulling with my brother. It's like $100 a time. This was $10. Just you could get 2. This might be cheaper. You could get the cheaper ones. The reason why you go 2 is because like you might lose an SP on your first turn as you're grinding with other decks. This deck can outgrind most most decks of the format. I outgrinded Labyrinth. He ran out of traps before I was. He ran out of traps before I was able to. Swing for a game. Like. It's so good. You're gonna see both of these. This is mandatory. Or like if you have trouble going into what's it called? Like Herald. If you have trouble going to this card, you could go like have like 3 cards and a Dark Blade. Link 2 off into SP. Dark Blade SP going to Herald. That's it. So that'll bring us into the next card. Herald Mirage Light. Very good. It's basically a free like spell trap negate for you by ditching Mace. And you're like, oh no, you lose Mace, you can't do a change of heart. You can. You just either go Bone Party, summon Gaddock when you have it. And then Bone Party pop Trihorn, and then Gaddock add back Mace. And now your change of heart's live. So yeah. After this, it's just access code and Selene. You don't need to run this whatsoever. It's just more ways to force game. There were times where I was trying to make my opponent interact with me, so I went access code to force me blowing up his board. To force him to like, yeah, I went access code to threaten me blowing up his board to force him to use his stuff, and then I went the memento line after that, and I just killed him. Because Akihiron allows your level 9 or higher mementos to attack directly. So if you have the Creation King and Combined Creation, like you swing for game anyway, like it's exactly AK. Or if you can't go that line, go access code. 2 Charmers. These enable your access code line. They can be used to search. I wouldn't use that. There's no really good search targets. Like I would want to see sheep, seahorse, or whatever, and like none of them are like light or dark. So dark is just mainly for access code. Lena on the other hand is like really good. I wasn't able to use it a lot, but let's say you blow up the Ryzeal board, or you blow up a Fiendsmith board. No, it's mostly for Ryzeal, sorry. Just go Lena. Lena take Detonator. Detonator effect take like attach a rat like an Xyz. And then you can link this off into an SP. Into pretty much like anything really. If Appaloosa was not banned, this would definitely go into an Appaloosa. But you go Detonator, and then basically like turn 3, your opponent's second turn, you have your full board plus a Detonator, they're gonna scoop. So insanely strong. These two should be mandatory in my eyes. Two Creation Kings, 2 Twin Head Memento Dragons. This is mandatory. One of these are mandatory, but you play the second one. The second one does come up a lot of times in grind matches. You could cut this and play Donner, but there's another card I'd rather cut for Donner. Very strong. It's banish instead when a memento like battles an opponent's monster. Is insanely strong, especially if they have like a Druid's Worm on field. Go swing with any of your mementos that could kill it, and then it gets banished. So it does come up. It does come up a lot of time, especially when you're trying to permanently get rid of things like a Desiree or whatever. It does come up. So 2 is really good. 1 for, of course, the search and pop and all that, and then the second one for battle. 2 of these are absolutely mandatory. You do not need a third because you recycle it so often. 1 will search you field spell, then 1 of course will be a big body and quick effect destroy, like 4 at times. There's a lot of combos where let's say you go first and then your opponent sets like 4, playing lab or something, or stun or whatever, set like 4 or 5 pass. You're able to pop 5 cards, so you basically blow up their whole back row with this, and then still have follow up, and then they just instantly scoop. 1 Drago Stapelia. So you use this after you go. So after you use this effect, his effect to pop, he'll get sent to grave, and your mental fusion is now live to use your graveyard as fusion material. So you then use this and any dark, like your dark mementos you want to shuffle, like another Anguish or Trihorn in grave. You shuffle this back. Now he's back in your extra deck. Got recycled, beautiful, and you have another interruption that's free. That stays. This is a once per turn, so this is a negate that stays too. So very powerful in grind games. And if this, in my opinion, is mandatory. And then your 3 Xyz, or I'll go with these 2 first. Gossip Shadow, Durandal. This is just another spell trap negate in my eyes. And if your lines get really weird due to interruptions and how your opponent like hand traps you, you end on this. Just to have like another interruption, make your board bigger. Gospel Shadow is the same thing, but it's also nib protection if you can't go into SP. Or if they're on, like, you just, for some reason, not playing Nib or some shit, I don't know. But you just need another monster in the gate, you go Gossip Shadow. I've never used Durandal for, I've never used Durandal for the hand shuffling. Why would I shuffle my opponent's hand, and potentially give them, like, better cards, when they already hand trap me and I have a big board? Like, it makes no sense. And yeah, Gossip Shadow is just usually Nib protection. It does come up quite a bit. Typhon. I don't like this card. You play it because, like, there's some, like, situations where, like, he'll win you the game, but I haven't, like, so that's theory, so, like, theoretically, sure. Practically, whenever I go into this card, I lose. If you go into him, that means you're in a losing game state. So I would probably cut this for Donner. But yeah, that's the extra deck. And now for the side. So first off, I side 3 Ash. So this is not for going second most times. This is for going first. The reason why you side this for going first is because, one, let's say you end on your full board, which is great, you have an Ash. 2, if you're going second and you're playing branded, you need this. 3, or you're playing against branded. But then other than that, like, this is for going first. This is for the Mulch Armies. As I said, the deck does not care about Mulch Armies. It only hinders it a little bit, but you'd rather not give your opponent draws that could potentially be, like, cards that will help them break your board, which does not happen often, but it does happen. But you just don't want to give them those draws. So seeing this and being able to stop a Mulch Army from it is really good. After that, of course, like, mandatory Lancia. I feel like this is everyone's side deck. You don't need to see this to beat Maliss. You could beat Maliss with just Engine. It's like, Maliss is a terrible deck. If you're playing Maliss, I'm sorry, but you wasted your money. Even when the Ignister stuff comes out, you just gain an Omni. Maliss's end board is insanely weak. Insanely weak. It's like 4 interruptions at best, and they all target. That deck is terrible. Like, every time I play against it, it's a free win. At regionals, my 2 matches, I 2-0'd. The first dude I played, I 2-0'd, like, easily. And the guy, like, oh my god. In my second match against Maliss, I lost 1 game. I won the match, but I lost 1 game because he saw Shifter. And he was able to, and then I set, like, Droplet, and he was able to pop Droplet. Oh no, it was Imperm, sorry, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. I couldn't even use Droplet under Shifter. Like, if they don't see Shifter, you're winning. That's it. And, like, if they see Shifter, you probably see this. Or a Called By. It's your 4 cards to their 3. So you're most likely, like, 99% of the time, you're going to beat them. Maliss is just a bad deck. They can't go second whatsoever. Like, they cannot play into your board. They should scoop. If they see a full Memento board, even with the Striker stuff, which I played against twice, just scoop. Draw phase, Goblin. Now, Striker stuff is dead. They can't target my stuff, and I'm not allowing them. I'm going to pop every single body on the field so they can't link. They scoop. They can't go second. Their end board is terrible going first. They rely on hand traps, and they brick. So it means they're going to brick 8 out of 10 times. And you could play through their 2 to 3 hand traps quite easily. Yeah, which is why I think, like, Memento is the second best deck of the format, because Maliss is just a bad deck. So yeah. After this, 3 Thrust, insanely strong. Play this with D-Barrier, or going second, you could search like Talents or Prosperity. This should be a mandatory on the side. Like, it's too powerful not to. Like, if you see this card and, like, other engine pieces, you win the game. This says any board breaker, not any board breaker, but yeah, pretty much any board breaker because of Prosperity, or just go Talents, or any engine you want to see. This is just a free +1 of, like, anything because of Prosperity and Talents. This, search Prosperity, Prosperity gets you whatever you want. 1 Duster, because I feel like You don't need to play this. I just wanted to have like some form of back row removal. Besides Darkblade and my other pops, like something I could just shotgun against like Labyrinth or potentially Maliss, because Maliss is just from what I've seen is like have quite a bit of back row. And again, just more Maliss hate. Like that deck is actually bad. Like they ended like Terahertz, a banish, another banish, and I think I've heard a spell Trap Negate. Terahertz is useless. That card is a vanilla. Sure, it's a battle stage negate. When are you ever going to use that? I'm gonna break your board, leave Terahertz, because Terahertz is non-existent. If I see Terahertz on the field, I see an empty like monster zone. And I go Akihiron, and then effect, and I swing directly. What is Terahertz gonna do? I go Akihiron during the main phase. Kevin activates effect during the battle phase. Swing for kill. Sure, and then they get the Ignister card. You play through it. You just play through one more Omni. That's it. Like that deck, like you should not be playing Maliss. I will hate Maliss for a very long time. And then too evenly. I just want another generic board breaker you could play that could break like other like decks, not like just Ryzeal. This does surprisingly well against Maliss. I used it on a dude and just completely wiped his board, and he was left with like 1 or 2 interruptions. I played through it anyway, and I set up my full board, and he scooped. Also, speaking of that same guy, people get so angry when they lose to Mementos for some reason. They heavily underestimate the deck. The dude, like that Maliss dude, who I 2-0'd quickly, he, what's it called? He didn't scoop right away because he was just relying on hand traps, and I played through it all anyway. Like, it doesn't matter because this deck does not care about hand traps. Not even Nib. Like, this, it does not matter. No hand trap hurts this deck besides Shifter. He ended up scooping, and like he threw his cards down. He took his pen, like threw it down when he signed the match slip. It was so funny. Yeah, too evenly. Realistically, these should be Xyz Encore. Like you could potentially cut the Feather Duster for a 3rd Xyz Encore, just in case like you're playing Ryzeal and they go Dweller. Of course, it helps in other ways, but like, yeah, these should be like these definitely should be Xyz Encore. This you could take out for a 3rd one. But surprisingly, whenever I played against Ryzeal during the regionals, I've never gotten Dweller. So take it as you will. But I'm probably gonna be switching those out for Xyz Encore. 1 D barrier, 1 DDG. These are just thrust targets. Kills Ryzeal. Kills like Branded. Just like Branded's usually not gonna be playing hand traps anyway. But you can side this going 2nd, and then set it after you break their board, and then you completely kill them when he like inevitably just like passes back to you. DDG in case you go against Memento itself, but they might be on hand traps, they might not be. I don't know. But if you're playing against me, you'll never get this off because I won't run hand traps against you. Yeah, that's about it for these two. And then last one is Arrow Shark. Just a time card. It is needed. Your combos are very long, and you need to just have 1 time card to side in. So yeah, that's about it for the deck profile. Let me know what you think. This deck I feel like will still be a good pickup into next format, just because it's still very strong engine. And if it starts to feel weak, you throw in the trap. You can push through any end board. Maliss is free, and a lot of people might be on Maliss still. Ryzeal is a good matchup. Like, that's very winnable. You should be able to break their board almost every game. Like against Ryzeal during the regionals, I've broken every Ryzeal board besides one. Because he had Ash in hand and 2 Judgment set, and I don't think anyone's breaking that. But other than that, I've broken the Ryzeal board every single time. I've broken it with just engine multiple times at locals, consistently, like, plus, like, and they had, like, 3 hand traps. Like, very good. Yeah, even against Ryzeal Mitsurugi, they're basically just playing the Mitsurugi stuff in place of the Fiendsmith stuff. And they still have the same amount of interruptions. So you should still be able to break the Ryzeal board anyway. So I'm not too worried about that. Again, Maliss is terrible. Don't play that deck. That deck is so bad. Pick up this deck instead. This is the second best deck of the format. I wholeheartedly believe that. It's very underrated at regionals. I felt like I was better than all my opponents. Not to like stroke my ego or anything, but I did strongly believe that. You just outplay them consistently, and yeah. So that'll be the end of this. I will have another like video coming out in a bit. I just have to script it out and then actually make it, and it's going to be about sequencing and why sequencing is the reason why you're not like doing well at your events, especially with a deck like this. And if you wanted to get better at Yu-Gi-Oh, I highly recommend picking up a very hard combo deck like this that's cheap. And as you see, I'm not running the Mulcharmies. You can if you have them, but I'm not running them. You don't need to. So pick this up and play it, because once you play this deck and you learn how to break boards with just Engine, you become significantly better at Yu-Gi-Oh in general, because you learn sequencing, you learn how to bait stuff out. So I will like get a video out about that in a bit. And then I might make some more, I might have some other ideas like deck building, format calls, breakers over hand traps, etc. Let me know what you guys think I should do next. But yeah, thank you. Play this deck, very strong. Don't play Maliss. If you have it, sell it. It will never be a good deck. That deck is terrible. Can't go first, can't go second. Bricks like crazy. Ryzeal, sure, but that's a boring deck, and this deck beats that anyway. So yeah, see you in the next video.